welcome to my channel. Today Joey and I are going to be doing the 23andMe kit. We are both so excited but at the same time really nervous. We decided to record the spitting part and registering our kit separately, and then we will come together at the end of the video when we actually do get our results. Down in the description I will post a link to his channel where you can find his video. So first I decided to talk about kind of why I'm wanting to do the 23andMe kit. It wasn't until a few years ago where I was told that my grandmother and my aunt were adopted and they don't really know anything about their mother or their father, so that's a part of me that I have no idea about. I also think that it's good for all of us to understand and acknowledge part of our genetics and realizing where our ancestors came from. And I also feel that we always judge on people and always put everyone in boxes and labels, that not understanding that someone who looks black on the outside may be Hispanic, maybe European, maybe Asian. And I think I would really like for myself to understand that even though right now I do identify as Hispanic, that there are certain parts of myself that I also need to acknowledge and read about and learn about, and maybe even visit these countries in the future. I also kind of want to give a little background about my family. Obviously, I don't have the time to explain every single person in my family, basically because I don't know everybody in my family. So if today somebody were to ask me, Vanessa, what is your race or ethnicity? I always say 50% Honduran and 50% Mexican. My dad was born in Honduras. For those of you that don't know where Honduras is, it's one of the Latin countries underneath Mexico. My dad came to the United States when he was about 21. He also has family in Florida that I've visited. He also has family in Honduras, but I haven't visited them since I was like 3. So that's why I consider half of me Honduran, because of my dad. On my mom's side, it's a whole different story and a little bit more complicated. So I'm gonna explain it in the way that I've been told and kind of just everything that I know, so some of this might be wrong. So there's this woman that lives in Chicago, and she had a few children and a lot of them had different fathers. She decided to give some of her children up for adoption, and then she also kept some of those children too. I only know 3 of those kids. I know one of my uncles who currently lives in Chicago. I also know my aunt and my grandmother. My great-grandmother adopted my aunt and my grandmother, and until recently I had no idea. I just always assumed that my aunt and my grandmother were born from my great-grandmother. My grandmother and my aunt and myself have no idea who this woman is. We don't know her race or ethnicity. We don't know her name. So I really would love to meet her, or at least know a little bit more about her, so then that way I can know a lot about myself, since biologically she is my great-grandma. Eventually my grandmother married my grandpa, who is Mexican. My grandfather came from Mexico. At one point he had 12 siblings. His mom is also still alive and she lives in Mexico, and I believe she is about 107. So that's how I kind of know about my Mexican roots, because of my mom's dad coming from Mexico. But my mom was born here in Iowa. So that's just basically why, if someone were to ask me today what my race and ethnicity is, and usually what I check off of like applications is I normally just do Latino / Hispanic. But I also don't like being called only Mexican, or when people look at me and they're like, oh, so you're Mexican. It's kind of like, yes, I am Mexican, but I'm also a half Honduran as well. I'm also hoping that with doing this kit, I'll learn a lot more about, again, my family and about myself, since I think that's very important. So now that you know a little bit more about me, let's get this kit started. So it does recommend not drinking or eating anything 30 30 minutes before spitting, and it's been about an hour since I brushed my teeth, so I should be good. So as you can see, I have the kit here, and I'm going to take the box out, and this is actually the kit, and it says welcome to you, and it's saliva collection kit. There'll be a lot of spitting in this video. So as you can see, when I open it up, it has a little green thing and it says, hi, let's get started. So it looks like I have to write down my barcode on this so I don't forget, because I will. So basically, it's just a little card just saying how excited they are and where I can find more information and where I can find their social media. Basically, it's just a little welcome and really nice little cute little thing. Now it shows the kit where I will be spitting in, and it has a little tube, so I'm gonna open this first. So the first thing that it tells me to do is to register my kit, so I'm gonna do that and then I will be right back.
A few moments later.
So I'm back now. That didn't take long at all. And so now I'm gonna read the instructions. First, do not eat, drink, smoke, or chew gum for 30 minutes before giving your saliva sample. Do not remove the plastic film from the funnel lid. So I should be good. 2, spit into the funnel until the amount of liquid saliva, not bubbles, reaches the fill line shown in picture number 2. So it's not focusing, but it says fill here. So here we go. So as you can see, I'm done now. My spit went a little bit above the line, but that should be okay. Step 3. Hold the tube upright with one hand. Close the funnel lid with the other hand as shown. So basically just putting this and closing that. The liquid in the lid will be released into the tube to mix the saliva. Be sure that the lid is closed tightly. Step number 4. Hold the tube upright. Unscrew the funnel from the tube and discard. Use the small cap to close the tube tight. Shake the capped tube for 5 seconds. From what I can tell, you're supposed to screw this off, discard this part, and then put this little cap on top. Step 5. Place the capped tube into the plastic bag containing the absorbent pad and seal the bag. Do not remove the absorbent pad from the plastic bag. So here is this baggie. I also want to point out that everything in here is just basically who I am, and it's really weird just looking at it. So I drop it in here, and the absorbent pad is in there. The final step says, place the sealed plastic bag into the original box. Peel the strip and seal the box closed. Then ship. Shipping has been prepaid. So basically, I don't have to like get a stamp or anything like that to send it back to the lab. They already have done that. And then I just have to remove this and it's sealed. Finally, I put the bag in here and just close it up. And now that Joy and I both have our sample and our kits, we are going to mail them out and hopefully we will get our results soon. See you in a few weeks. Welcome back to part 2 of the 23andMe results. Here I have Yo Joe Unicorn. Remember, he also did his 23andMe, and the link to that video will be down in the description below. So we did have this recorded back in January, but as you can see, this is what it looked like in January. And this is what it looks like today. So as you can see, there are some changes, so I decided to go ahead and re-record again. I first want to say that I'm apologizing for in case this part is just gonna be screenshots the whole time and you don't really get to see us. I hope you guys enjoy my JoJo side ponytail.
Actually, yes, I did. I like it in the side ponytail.
I also want to say I apologize if I keep looking at the wrong side of the camera. So let's get started. I have to put on my glasses, otherwise I can't see.
Hey, my glasses! I can't see without them.
So just looking at my composition map, I love how colorful it is. It's so bright and I just love that. It looks like my highest score is East Asian and Native American, with 69.4% being Native American. And I also love how it says Mexico too. If we read the Mexico part, it says, we predict you had ancestors that lived in Mexico within the last 200 years. Which is wild to me, because just like in the beginning of this video, I did talk about my family in Mexico. And it looks like I'm also broadly East Asian, which is 0.3%. As well as broadly East Asian and Native American with 1.4%. My second highest is European of 13.1%, that white privilege. And it looks like this part is broken down into 5 parts, with Iberian being 5.9, Ashkenazi Jewish 0.1%, Balkan 0.1%, broadly Southern European 6.5%, and lastly broadly European as 0.5%. My third highest is Western Asian and North African. I was not surprised to have some African, just because I think I've kind of heard that something about with Hispanics have African roots and stuff like that. But for that one, it was only 7.5%. And the 3 categories that I have here are Western Asian, North African, and Arabian, and broadly Western Asian and North African, with Western Asian being 3.2%, North African and Arabian 2.3%. And I do want to say, when I read Arabian, this song played in my head.
Arabian Night. I love this song.
You love the song? Yeah. Me too. I'm like, yes, I am Jasmine.
I hate being forced into this.
I love Jasmine. Back when I was younger, I always loved Jasmine because I felt like she looked like me, and I never really realized that she wasn't like Latina or Hispanic.
She's the only colored queen up in there.
Yes, now we have what, like
2 more.
2 like, we need to get going. And also, let me just say that sometimes a princess does not fall in love with a prince, and that's okay. Sometimes she wants to fall in love with another princess, you know?
It's the gay agenda.
My fourth highest is Sub-Saharan African with 2.2%. This category is divided into 4 parts: West African, East African, African hunter-gatherer, and broadly Sub-Saharan African. For West African, I am 1.3%, East African 0.3%, African hunter-gatherer 0.1%, and broadly Sub-Saharan African 0.4%. I think this is very interesting. My fifth highest is Melanesian with 0.1%, and it also has just one category of broadly Melanesian. The last category is unassigned with 6.1%. So I was also interested in knowing more about the location of my DNA relatives. So it looks like for me, my 23andMe DNA relatives live in 16 US states and 2 countries. Explore the map to see the places they call home. I feel like it would be really interesting if we actually did find people that we were related to, but also at the same time very stalkerish, because like I don't want people like, hey, like, you know, I'm a relative. So looking at the US map alone, some states that my DNA relatives are California, Texas, Illinois, Washington, New York, Florida, Arizona, Virginia, Colorado, and Wisconsin. So I would love to have family in California, wouldn't you?
Yeah. How come Iowa's not on there?
I don't know. I mean, where am I at? Like, here you are, you know what I mean? Unless you're not my brother. I would love to have family in California so I could go visit them. We can go to LA or something. It'd be so freaking amazing. And for Texas, I think I heard Dad has family in Texas.
Yeah.
Do you know where?
I think Houston, but I could be wrong.
And then for Illinois, I was not surprised with Illinois because, like I said earlier, with my mom's side of the family being in Chicago and knowing for sure that my biological grandma is in Illinois, so that makes sense. Also for Florida, our dad also has family in Florida too. I believe, is it Kissimmee, Florida, I think?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been to Wisconsin before, but usually just for vacation. But all the other places, like Colorado, Arizona, Virginia, like I have no idea about. So it looks like for my world map, the 2 countries of my DNA relatives are United States of America, 690, and Mexico, 15, which is funny.
Wow. I thought it was going to be a lot more for Mexico, only 15.
I think earlier when we recorded this, I had like some in Canada. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they're like, oh, no, you're not related to any Canadians. So like, darn. So I hope you guys enjoyed our 23andMe results. I will post a link in the description down below of the 23andMe so you guys can also buy a kit for yourself. This video is not sponsored by them, but I do think that it is interesting for everyone to know a little bit about their DNA and where their ancestors came from. So one thing that I did learn is that I am Mexican, so yay, I got that right. But I'm also going to be looking into the other countries that I've never heard of and maybe go visit them one of these days. Who knows? Also, don't forget to check out Yojo Unicorn's page for his 23andMe results as well. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, as well as press the little notification button so you'll be notified every time I make a video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye! I feel like it'd be really...
Sorry.
You need to speak louder. Okay. Did you just roll your eyes?
No, I just went like this, like, okay. So we clearly see that Vanessa's been hoeing around.